Where'd you go?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
Good evening, my beloved class of 2010. Mrs. Corey, Mr. Wells, Mr. Nugent, Superintendent Himmelberger, and the members of the school committee. Good evening to Dr. Filippo, our guest speaker. I would like to thank you in advance for being here tonight. A special welcome to the friends and families of the soon-to-be graduates of Oxford High School. Without all of you, none of us would have made it this far. As I sat down to write this speech multiple times over the past month, only a few words and phrases could be typed at a time. Nothing significant came onto the computer, not anything that I could place together to make a speech. I wanted to think of a theme for my speech, but there were far too many to choose from. As many of the seniors, including myself, sat down at the Spencer Country Inn last night, we realized that this was the end. We watched a slideshow dating back to our freshman year through this point. We all hugged each other and cried. The theme of this year's 2009-2010 yearbook was Time Flies By. As it was my mission to write about the past 4 years at Oxford High School, I knew this was my theme. As we walked into this school 4 years ago, we were terrified. Before this point, some of us thought we knew it all and had every aspect of life and school down to a science. We thought we were no longer underdogs as our reign as 8th graders came to a close. But little did we know that what was given could soon be taken away. We entered this school as everything but the top dogs on campus. As we tried to weave our way around what we thought to be an intricate square of a school, we all wished we could run back down to the road to Oxford Middle School. As the years passed and we watched previous classes graduate and move on, we too spent our time wishing that could be us. Every day we would talk about how great it would be to finally reach the apex of our senior year and receive our diploma. What we didn't realize is how time surely does fly by. Before I could blink, it was the end of my junior year. As I look back on this year, I reread my reflective essay that I had written in Miss Kranz's class. As I read through the painful paragraphs full of sorrow and heartbreak, I sat there and wondered, who is this person? And I finally came to the closing paragraph, which read, "Over the past year, I have questioned my faith, argued tremendously with my parents and family, lost friendships, and had my heart broken, but I have gained so much in return. Prior to this year, I wasn't accustomed to change. The tiniest inconsistencies scared me. Henry David Thoreau once said, 'Things don't change, we change.' Despite how horrible all of the change was for me at the beginning of that year, it led to better change and ultimately made me a better person. People change, but it is in our human nature to adapt that enables us to survive in just about any situation. In just 1 year, I went from questioning everything to loving my life and living it to the fullest. We are now at our very last high school event, and we can't help but ask ourselves, where has time gone? Well, I can tell you where it all went. For the past 4 years of our lives, we have spent our time laughing, crying, working, procrastinating, loving, hating, falling down but getting back up. Along the way, we have lost, but we have gained. We have taken, but we have shared. Most importantly, we have made millions of mistakes, but we have learned, and we have certainly grown. These mistakes are what brought us here today. Every single event at Oxford High School will remain a part of us forever. We will permanently remember walking into a new school at 14 years old and being terrified. We will reminisce high school crushes, loves, and the unfortunate heartbreak that came after. We will remember those terrible days and how our best friends got us through. We will remember the lost friendships, but how they forced us to meet new, amazing, and life-altering friends. We will never forget homecomings, prom, sporting events, our first cars, plays, pep rallies, and the inevitable rush we felt while having the time of our lives. Sure, many of us will remember the stress put into these events. I speak from personal experience. But the success and the feeling made it all worthwhile. Although we don't want to admit it, every test, term paper, and project had a point. These tedious, annoying assignments helped us bring us here today and prepare us for life after high school. As I said in the beginning, we are all sitting here believing that this is the end, when in fact, this is only the beginning. High school is just one more chapter of our crazy, ridiculous lives, and it was a milestone that we are sure to love forever. Time does indeed fly by, but I'm so happy that these past 4 years could be spent with all of you. We are 2010, and we will be forever young. Thank you guys so much for making this year possible for me. I love all of you, and I'll miss you terribly. I would like to leave you with the famous words of Dr. Seuss. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Thank you all so much again for coming, and I hope you continue to enjoy this unforgettable evening. And also, thank you to Mr. Baggett and the band. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Morgan, for those terrific words. To Chairman Spitz and members of the school committee, it is my distinct honor as the superintendent of the Oxford Public Schools to certify to you that the members of the class of 2010 seated before you have successfully completed all requirements for graduation set forth by the Oxford High School and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and therefore are eligible to be awarded an Oxford High School diploma on this date, May 28th, 2010. And now it is my honor to introduce Mr. Matthew Thompson.
Good evening. Yesterday, nervous about my speech, I talked to my good friend, Haley Dowd, who reassured me that the audience won't even listen to me anyway. Thanks, Haley. I owe a lot to my superior procrastination skills, which allowed me to write this speech in such short notice. As a matter of fact, I think that the bags under my eyes from stress and lack of sleep make me look older and wiser. Better for pictures. My only request is that you at least pretend to listen and that you clap wildly when I'm finished. As I just found out that I had to prepare a speech 2 days ago, I figured it was appropriate that I follow this year's recurring theme of time and speak about living in the moment. Our moment right now is our graduation, our portal into the unknown. Now, you're probably squirming in your seat, waiting for my speech to be over so you can get your diploma. Now, you may be reflecting on your experiences during high school and the memories that you have forged within these boundaries. Now, somewhere, there's probably someone reciting a better graduation speech than this one, but you're stuck with mine. Sorry. I asked some graduates what they remember from their graduation ceremonies, and most remember it being hot and crowded, and recall themselves feeling anxious and annoyed while waiting for the speakers to get it over with. Some reported that throwing their caps was the best part of the evening. What images, sounds, or emotions will stand out from our graduation ceremony? The beautiful weather? The worried, stressed look on Mr. Wells' face every time we have to stand up or sit down? The gleam of pride from our parents, family, and friends? Perhaps you will remember feelings of anxiety, joy, sorrow, maybe disbelief, or a bittersweet mixture of emotions that accompany this prestigious milestone. Writing my speech, I came upon a saying that I think sums up our class perfectly. The saying goes, "Good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment." The class of 2010 has certainly lived within the moment, from our 3 lockdowns to improvising all 4 homecoming skits on the spot and waiting until 11:59 to email our overdue assignments just to make sure it's in on time. Each experience that we've had has shaped who we are and has brought us together here, to this moment. Each moment, like a fingerprint, is unique, and that comes but once and impacts your life so differently than the last. You'll never have another moment exactly the same as any other in your lifetime. Each solitary event in our lives have impacted us in some significant way, molding us into the graduates that sit here before you. From playing tag during recess in 1st grade, to getting beeped at by Mr. Moran's megaphone in the hallways of the middle school, to dominating this year's pep rally. So reflect upon these experiences and look to them for future reference to achieve your fullest potential. Learn from the good and learn from the bad, because both will have an enormous importance on the outcome of your life. 2010 marks the end of the first decade of the new millennium. In 2nd grade, when we figured out that we would graduate in 2010, it seemed like an eternity away. For some of us, it took a few more years to figure out that we would graduate in 2010, but nonetheless, the time is here. Reflecting on how time seems to fly by, the wise Professor Dumbledore from J.K. Rowling's popular Harry Potter series once said that time is making fools of us. Our perception of now is ever-changing. 10 years ago, our now was playing Pokemon cards on a warm summer day. 5 years ago, our now was instant messaging and prank phone calling each other. A few months ago, our now was consumed by thoughts of college options and decisions about the future. A few minutes ago, our now was listening to Morgan reflecting on the past. Now, friends and family members, you are witnessing a transformation from childhood to adulthood, from shelter to freedom, and from the certain to the unknown. The thing that strikes me the most about now is that it quickly fades to then. So, make the best of your now and enjoy it to the fullest, for soon this moment will be simply a memory. Cherish each moment, keep dreams in the front of your mind, and you are sure to succeed. This moment, now, brings the conclusion of my speech. This might not mean a lot coming from your 3rd in the class, but I truly wish you all the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and that you always strive to live in the moment. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Kelly Kirkland.
Good evening, everyone. I stand up here in front of you all in amazement. We have finally completed high school, and everyone is preparing for college or heading off into the workforce. I am truly proud of you all. Writing this speech gave me a chance to really look back into the past. All the years spent in elementary and middle school have left me with countless memories and lessons, some good, some bad, and some I'd like to forget. However, each memory has helped me become the person I am today. Do you remember when you were 5 years old? We were in kindergarten and just started our school career. That was 13 years ago. 13 years ago, we lived in a world of pure imagination.
Recess was a priority, and only scraped knees got in the way. We always want to be the best at everything. When we were young though, that meant being the best at the little things. Learning how to multiply in 3rd grade comes to mind. Mrs. Haggerty gave us 1 minute to complete a multiplication table. We started with the easiest, the zeros. If you got every question right, you were allowed to move on to the next question. Kevin and I drove each other to be the best. Getting every question right used to be the highlight of our day. Jumping rope was something else everyone cared about. If you had one thin plastic rope, you were considered cool. Everyone wanted to be your friend, and you felt great showing all the kids how fast you could jump. Sadly, it's not like that anymore. We now worry about looks and fitting in and passing for the year. But if every now and then we all take the time to remember our younger selves, we'll be able to head into the future with an open mind. The machines are now closed. We were greeted with this phrase as we entered middle school. The machines were never really closed, but the cafeteria monitors had their own way of doing things, and we learned that it was easier just to go along with their notions. At this moment in our lives, we discovered that life doesn't come easy. Middle school taught us to work hard for what we desired and prepared us for what was to come. In 5th grade, I met this new girl with overalls. She always wore a hoodless sweatshirt decorated with a little bow on the collar. I thought she was weird and was reluctant to befriend her. However, I realized you shouldn't judge people from the outside, but have to make the effort to see their true colors. Emma and I have been best friends ever since. Meeting new people will be a huge part of our lives. We must remember to give everyone a chance because everyone you meet makes a difference in your life. Do you remember thinking that you would stay young forever? How could I possibly grow up? That's so far away. Well, that time is here now. Dear class of 2010, I leave you now with the words of Green Day. I hope you had the time of your life.
Each in separate drawers until there's
Graduation is the day we seniors have looked forward to for so long. Yet it is also the day we knew would come all too fast. I knew many of us would be happy, others sad, and a few others genuinely surprised at the thought of graduating high school. I also knew that for the vast majority of us, an incredible mixture of feelings would be felt. A mixture that would leave us smiling, laughing, and crying, all at the same time, and all because of graduation. So, I wondered, what exactly does graduation mean? After looking it up, I discovered that graduation can be defined as a ceremony in which degrees or diplomas are awarded to students who have successfully completed their studies. To me, the word completed suggested an ending, which I thought fitting, since tonight is the finishing point of our high school careers. However, I wasn't quite satisfied with the definition I found, so I looked for words meaning graduation. During my search, I came across the word commencement. A commencement is a new beginning. This is how I choose to look at graduation, because more than an ending, graduation is a beginning, the opening of a new chapter in our lives. And as we go into the future, my greatest hope is that we will always challenge ourselves. It is easy to get disappointed, frustrated, and angry. It is challenging to be kind, patient, and understanding. It is easy to give up, label things as too difficult, too strenuous, or not worth the effort. It is challenging to maintain a positive attitude, to try for what may seem impossible, and to persevere. Every day we are presented with opportunities which can bring us, or others, greater happiness and a larger sense of fulfillment. Whether it's studying for an extra 20 minutes or holding a door open for a stranger, something can always be done. However, we will not always take advantage of these opportunities. As human beings, we are prone to steer away from what causes us physical and emotional pain. Thus, too often, we will forfeit hopes and dreams because we fear failure or rejection. Too often, we will settle for less because we fear the amount of effort required to achieve more. Throughout high school, we have always had friends to remind us about projects, coaches to push us to run faster, and teachers to guide us in the right direction. But as we leave high school, and as the years go by, we will become more and more responsible for ourselves. We will become more and more tempted to simply do what we think is easiest. But I hope we resist these temptations and continue to challenge ourselves, because the struggles and uncertainties in life are what make living worthwhile. By consistently challenging ourselves, we will never stop learning and we will never stop growing. A good friend will share your happy moments. A great friend will share your happy moments, your sad moments, your angry and crazy moments. A good athlete will perform until his muscles ache. A great athlete will perform even when his muscles are aching. Choosing to do what is difficult over what is easy, accepting the challenge to go above and beyond, is what separates the good from the great. Graduating tonight proves that all of us have the capability to accomplish our goals, even when our goals require hard work. And after tonight, we will truly know what it takes and what it feels like to be great. As I said before, graduation is a beginning. Our families and friends, teachers and coaches have given us everything we need to succeed in the future. It is now up to us to use what we have learned to make the best lives for ourselves and accomplish in life what we always have wanted. As we go through life, we must remember our past, for it has molded us into the people we are today and inspires us to become the people we want to be. We must live for the present. My dad has always told me that life is too short to worry about the little things, and I have always tried to live by his words. Appreciate what you have and do what you love, because as we all know tonight, time flies by. Finally, set goals for your future and strive to achieve them. Whether you want to visit the moon or simply move out of your parents' basement, always strive for what you want and never give up. I truly cherish the time I've spent with all of you while growing up in Oxford, and I'm extremely proud to share this day with you. Always know that as the OHS class of 2010, we will always share a bond, and know that as graduates, our futures are as bright as we shine tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Wells, and I'm proud to be the principal of Oxford High School, my alma mater. Dr. Filippo, Mrs. DeWitzik, Mr. Peterson, Mr. Spitz, Mrs. Coonan, Mrs. Ennis, and Superintendent Himmelberger, invited dignitaries, welcome to the commencement exercises for the class of 2010. It is such a great pleasure for me to have the opportunity to address all of you here this evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank a few people, if I may. I'd like to especially thank my assistant principal, Mr. David Nugent, and our senior class advisor, Miss Amy Corey. You heard Matt not that long ago talk about looking at the facial expressions of Mr. Wells as the students are bobbing up and down as we're trying to seat ourselves in order. I do get a little bit anal. I'd like to thank people behind the scenes. It takes an awful lot of people in order to have a graduation as wonderful as this evening. Mr. Heatherman and the entire custodial staff, our secretaries, Mrs. Lilly, Mrs. Rassicott, and Mrs. McDonald, Mr. Doldorian, Coach D, for all of his assistance today, the faculty and staff members who were instrumental in making this graduation possible, Mr. O'Brien for his outstanding job putting tonight's program together, Commander Maisley and the award-winning NJROTC program, and what about the music program? Unbelievable. Thank you, Mr. Baggett, and the entire music program of Oxford High School. Last evening, I had the opportunity to have the class of 2010 present a yearbook to two individuals. One was the Teacher of the Year. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Tim Craig. And this year's Ravelin's yearbook was dedicated to a long-standing staple at Oxford High School, Coach John Doldorian. To the parents, guardians, family, and friends, please allow me to thank you for the love and the support that you have given the class of 2010. You have been the foundation to which our graduates have built their success upon, and my hat's off to you. To you, the class of 2010, remember that believing is the beginning of dreams come true. I believe that Teresa Henry said it best when she said, "Your diligence in nurturing will protect and inspire many people in your lifetime. Acknowledge and cherish every single quality that each and every one of you have, and use it. Use it as leverage to its fullest. Make room each and every day of your life for your own time, in your own space, so that you are able to open the doors and generously allow people to come in. Help make our world different. Help make it a better place." In closing, use passion. Last night I talked to you, I saw several of you, and we had a conversation about the emotion that was taking place last night. That's passion. Use that passion. Express that passion from your heart. The great novelist Arnold Bennett said, "There can be no knowledge without emotion. We may be aware of the truth, yet until we have felt its force, it's not ours. To the cognition of brain must be added the experience of our soul." Go into the world and make us all proud of you, class of 2010. Oxford High School is always your home. Please come back. Please visit. Please behave. I'm proud of each and every one of you. It is now my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's keynote speaker. This evening's keynote speaker is a nationally and internationally recognized educator and technology leader. He was a student in the halls of the Oxford Public Schools. He was a teacher in the halls of the Oxford Public Schools, and he was an administrator. in the Oxford Public Schools. Dr. John Filippo is the founder and CEO for the Center for Educational Leadership and Technology, better known as CELT. CELT assists schools and universities in linking 21st century educational reform with effective use of technology. Dr. Filippo also serves as a resource consultant for learning organizations, businesses on the state and federal level. He has taught graduate courses, authored journal articles, and made numerous presentations on interactive learning technologies and their impact on our students' achievement. Dr. Filippo is a 1970 graduate of the Oxford Public Schools. As a former science and math teacher of Oxford High School, he was also the founding director of Project Coffee. He served as its director. It was the United States Department of Education Technology Lighthouse Program for at-risk youth, as well as a developer demonstrator program for Washington, D.C. for several nationally validated technology programs. 2 of these programs received a Presidential White House Award for their outstanding public-private sector partnerships. Recently, he coordinated a national research project that focused on using web-based technology to improve the management of learning for students across the world. Currently, he is overseeing a major educational project, a research project for Bill and Melinda Gates and their foundation. Dr. Filippo completed his doctoral degree. His studies were at Harvard Graduate School of Education in the area of administration, planning, and social policy. It's my pleasure to introduce to you a graduate of Oxford High School and a personal friend, Dr. John Filippo.
Good evening, everyone, and what a beautiful night. Just absolutely beautiful. And before I start, by the way, this speech got a lot shorter as Morgan gave her talk and Matthew gave his and Kelly and Tara. I just kept scratching off. Don't talk about time, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. And I also was going to talk a little bit about being individuals in the world, but then again, you're all dressed alike, so I skipped that part too. So again, thank you, good evening, and most of all, congratulations to you, the Oxford High School class of 2010. Obviously, as everyone has said, we also need to thank and recognize your parents, relatives, and friends who have probably worked just as hard as you to get you where you are today. To Superintendent Himmelberger, your principal, Mr. Wells, members of the school committee, and most of all, your classroom teachers here at Oxford High School in the 13 years that you've been in the Oxford Public Schools, I commend you all on a job well done. What I want to share with you this evening is a little bit about my own work, and as I sat there with you almost 40 years ago. And in order to do that here this evening, I want to say first and foremost, I'm really humbled and honored to be your commencement speaker. I also remember most of what I've learned in public speaking, I learned at Oxford High School in that building back there. So, you know, and I saw Mr. Bacon here, and I'm like, oh, Mr. Bacon's here. He might ask me who my graduation speaker was 40 years ago. And I have to admit, you know, to be really, really honest, I don't think I knew who it was a year later. Never mind, you know, 40 years ago. However, for the record, Mr. Bacon, I did call the town hall and asked the question, who was my class speaker in 1970? And it was Dr. Bertrand Holland, Executive Director of the Massachusetts Association of School Principals. So there. I also know the evening belongs to all of you and all the parties afterwards. So I'll try to keep my remarks to a minimum and let you begin to celebrate. But as I said, most of what I learned about public speaking, and unfortunately I do a lot of it all over this country and around the world, and here this evening, I learned my junior year in Oxford High School in Mrs. Ahern's English class, okay? It was interesting. After she helped us figure out you have to write an outline in order to give that speech, and then you had to write a coherent speech. That took, you know, another month or so. And then it became my turn to give the presentation. Now, thank God I was born a Filippo, so that you A letters, you had to go first. You know, and I had my chance to see how they picked on you. But it was interesting, you know, I got through my speech and Mrs. Ahern said, John, that was okay. But I've got 3 really important things for you to remember. It's not likely you'll ever do any public speaking, but if you do, remember the 3 B's. And I said, what do you mean remember the 3 B's? And she said, yeah, be good, be brief, and be seated. And so I want you to know I took those remarks with me all over the world, and I have them with me tonight to do that, okay? But I also want to point out that I did arrive early. Forget that page, it's okay. You know, and the interesting part is my secretary once watched me give a speech. She said, John, you make me type all day long to get this right, and you don't follow a word. You just do it, you know. But anyways, the interesting part was I got here early to mingle with board members and faculty and others. And the other part about being brief was at least 10 people over here asked me, John, do you have dinner? And I said, no. And they said, good. This way here you'll be brief. So that was interesting. And walking in with Mr. Wells earlier today, Mr. Wells turned to me and said, John, this is really going to be fairly easy and straightforward. I already lectured the class. Their job is to listen, and your job is to give their keynote commencement address. And I said, Mr. Wells, that part's easy. You know what the hard part of this is? That you're supposed to finish about the same time I do. So hopefully you finish listening about the same time I finish talking. But let me share with you early on my own work. I mean, for me, I was probably in the middle of your class when I graduated. So I want to share with you a couple of experiences, the importance of knowing your audience. And that's the other thing Mr. Hearn said, know your audience, John. Always know, so you're my audience tonight. So I did some research. I'm a professional researcher. That's what I do for a living. I research ideas around learning and technology. So I did some research on you. And it was interesting what I found out when I was looking for things about the class of 2010 for 13 years. Before long, I learned one thing. You're a tough bunch. You burned through 3 school superintendents, 2 school principals, and during your tenures as students in all 13 years, the school district's been entirely reorganized and redistricted. They removed the 8th grade from the high school and to accommodate your unique learning needs. Wow, you are really, really a tough bunch. The Oxford Public Schools hasn't changed that much since the inventing of the printing press. So this is really, really important. But let me get to a few remarks. It's just 2 really simple remarks that I want to share with you that I've learned to do the things that I've been able to do. And all of that I learned here in this community and in this high school. So this evening I only have 2 basic stories or personal thoughts to share with you. First, let me start my brief remarks by saying, I'm sure at this point in your life, you are really, really growing tired of hearing your parents say, you did not do this or you did not do that, or maybe your teachers, maybe one of the teachers over here said on more than one occasion, you did not give it your best effort, or better yet, maybe you didn't get the right answer. But I want to make sure you go home tonight knowing there's a huge difference that I used all the time, and the difference is between what you did not do and what you could not do. Like many of you, I too often heard from my parents, teachers, and school administrators, relatives, and even friends about the things I did not do. However, I never remember them saying that I could not do something. Or if they did say that I could not do something, I creatively ignored them. And there's a huge difference in life about what you did not do versus what you cannot do within reason. But I remember many, many years ago about the time you were born and I created CELT. A lot of really successful people told me, John, there's one thing you don't know how to do. You do not know how to build a national and international multi-million-dollar business. You do not know how to do that. Now again, I don't remember anybody saying I couldn't do it. So that's what I was looking for. No one said I couldn't, and if they did, I'm not sure I would have listened anyways. So how to build this organization? And they say, John, you're going to be kidding. You've got 2 daughters, you don't have any money. You've got 2 daughters going to college, you've got to pay their tuition. You've got a mortgage, you just finished graduate school, and you have no business experience whatsoever. And even worse, you don't have any rich friends or parents. So how are you going to do this? And I said to myself, everything I've learned in life that I've applied, I learned in this community. I learned growing up in the community and in the Oxford Public Schools and in a supportive and caring home, and never confused did not with could not. As you move on this evening to the road of life, you too will find your own way and your own inspiration. The fact that I did not graduate from Oxford High School in 1970 with honors did not deter me from trying to go to college. As a matter of fact, I was an average student. The interesting thing is, as a matter of fact, as I understand it, there's still a major debate in the old Oxford High School from my former teachers as to what side of average I was on. So, and maybe Mr. Bacon can fill me in later, I don't know. He had all those records. But I remember I also had this other crazy idea before CELT. I had this wild and crazy idea that I wanted to figure out how people learned and how to use technology. And I knew nothing about that. But I had this wild and crazy idea that I would try to go to the most costly and prestigious university in the world. And again, people said, John, you're nuts. You did not go to an elite and private high school. You went to Oxford High School. Another group said, well, you did not go to an Ivy League college. You went to Worcester State College. Even worse, some of us know, John, that you took a summer and went to Quinsigamond Community College to make up for a few courses you didn't do so good at Worcester State on. And that's true. However, no one told me or convinced me I could not. And I hope throughout your entire life, you never let anyone convince you you cannot. So what I did is quickly, I found $125. I probably borrowed it. I applied to Harvard University's Graduate School of Education. I got accepted. I graduated with honors and founded the Center for Educational Leadership and Technology. And I wake up every day excited about the opportunity to go to work and do the type of work that I get to do with the type of people I work with. But I never forget my colleagues that I taught with here and had a great time. So again, please do not let anyone deter you from living your dream. Talk about dreams. One of our clients is Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Maktoum from Dubai in the Middle East. I mean, this guy has dreams. He also has money, by the way. One of them was to build an indoor ski resort. It's 120 degrees if you've ever been to the Middle East. It's 120 degrees, but he basically found a way in the technology to build Mount Wachusett inside a building, inside a mega shopping mall. So when you go shopping in Dubai, you can go skiing if you want to do something in between. You also can do a lot of shopping. So let me share there with you, before I go on to my next topic and close, dreams move us forward. And remember, the past is just that, it's the past. Whatever you did or didn't do, it's not a problem, because you can do so much. So regardless of what happened in the past or what grades you received, you must now build your own future. Certainly good grades will make the next phase of your life easier. There were lots of days I regretted. Probably should have worked harder. My life would have been a little bit easier to move along. But for those of you in that distinguished category tonight of good grades, congratulations. However, if you fail, or have failed as I often do and still do, please focus on what you learned from failing and try again. That's the best lesson. Thomas Edison once said, and I repeat, Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that do not work." And there's a difference, so never concede to it, and you don't have to. Along the way, think about what you learned from all the great teachers, administrators, sports coaches, your dance instructors, music teachers, community members, parents, and teachers. This is what I did. I had to look around for role models. So I would say, well, gee, I wonder how, Mr. Boss would have done it. I wonder how, Mr. Pottle and Mr. Bacon or Mr. Moran and others would have done certain things. So I could figure out how to solve the puzzle. And all the answers in all the world that I have to deal with every day has always been right here in this community for me. I would think about what I learned from them, what I saw them doing, how I saw them behave. I mean, when you go to the Royal Castle in another country, this is my home. This is my life, living here amongst all of you. No one ever told me you're not supposed to turn your back on a sheikh. I thought they were going to throw me in jail, but no one told me that. Or you're not supposed to shake the hand of a woman in a Muslim country. But let me move on so we can get on to graduation. So, again, along the road of life, find a way to collect all the experiences and observations and assemble all the positive attributes you see from all these people here with you this evening and those you meet in the next stage of your life. This evening I have 3 such people with me from my life. My mother, my wife, and my sister. I still learn a lot from these people, and you'll still learn a lot from these folks as well. As some of you may know, my parents never went to college. As a matter of fact, my dad never went past the 8th grade. However, like your parents or guardians, my parents taught me some of the most valuable lessons in life. They taught me the value of hard work, good ethics, and most importantly, they told me, find something and try to make a difference in the world. As a result, the last message I want to share with you and leave on with this special evening in your young life is the value of hard work. Today you live in the freest, most prosperous, and technologically developed country in the world. You are the best educated, most creative youth, healthiest youth in the world. And for the first time in American history, you know a lot more about one of the world's most powerful resources than your parents or your guardians. That is the new and emerging technologies. So keep that advantage. Don't let them in on some of that stuff. By now you've figured out that some of your classmates may be taller and shorter than you. Some adults get gray and white hair at a much younger age than some of the others. And some of you may be more academically gifted than others. Most of this is genetic, and there's not much we can do about it. However, the great equalizer in life is how hard you work, how much effort you want to put into something. That's the great equalizer for anything else you want to do. So put that in and make that a difference. To the best of my knowledge, none of us were born lazy. We all can work hard. And that's, where I come from in terms of the work I do every day. I'm grateful that as I grew up in Oxford, early on, I had the opportunity to learn the value of hard work. My first real job in life, by the way, I was like 10 or 11 years old. I got to deliver the Webster Times. Do they even deliver that anymore? You still make money doing that? Okay. And my next job was really a good job for hard work. I washed the storefront windows in Oxford Center where Cumberland Farms used to be. There used to be a hotel for Mr. Joslin's insurance company and Mr. Spitz's optician's business. Next, I learned how to caddy at 13 or 14 up at Pleasant Valley Country Club in Sutton. Then I learned the art of picking apples and vegetables at Lappa's Farm and making pizzas and subs at P&D Pizza. All of this before I graduated from high school. After high school, I continued to work hard and pay my own way through college. In summary, and as suggested, please do not confuse did not with could not. Work hard and continue to be an active learner, and there's nothing you cannot do. Create your own opportunities in life. My only caution is that along the way, culture, history, tradition, and technology get in our way. And they can confuse you a lot. So I'm going to just end with this little story. I'm going to tell you it's a funny story. A little while ago, my wife Wendy and I last fall went to North Dakota. And, we were there working with the Native American Indians trying to figure out how to improve their schools and use technology. And one evening, the tribe leaders came in and they asked their new chief. And the new chief had just graduated from college. And they asked the chief whether the 2009-2010 winter that we just had would be cold or mild. And since the young chief never learned the ways of his ancestors, he tells the tribal members, go start collecting firewood. And when they went away, he went online. And he went online to the U.S. National Weather Service. And he typed in the words, will this be a bad winter? And he got an email right back. And the email looks like it was the answer from the U.S. Weather Service. So the next night, the chief tells his people, keep gathering more firewood. But a week later, the chief says, I'm a little concerned about this reliability of the internet. Because who knows, maybe that was a scam or a hacker in there. So a week later, he's a little concerned about the reliability of the internet. So he looks up the phone number online. And he calls the U.S. Weather Service in that area. And he calls the U.S. Weather Service directly and asks, are you positive this winter is going to be cold? Absolutely, responded the phone attendant. Once again, the young chief tells his people to gather even more firewood. Looks like it's going to be cold. It seemed like they collected firewood every day. Several weeks later, before Wendy and I left, the young chief calls the U.S. Weather Service again, one more time, and he wants now to talk to the manager. And he says to the manager, you sure this is going to be a cold winter? And the manager replied, I'm telling you, it's going to be the coldest winter on record. And so the young chief says to the person, well, how do you know? And the U.S. Weather Service manager responded, because the Indians are gathering a lot of firewood like crazy. So you have to put all of that type of stuff in balance, because there's a good example of new technology, but an old data system. That weather service still watches how the Indians behave and the squirrels behave to make that work. So be careful. So as you journey forward, be careful to balance everyday life with the new and emerging technologies. As I close, I'd like to share with you a quote that's about you and your world. It's an Albert Einstein quote, and he said, computers are incredibly fast, accurate, and stupid. Humans, you, are incredibly slow, sometimes, inaccurate, and brilliant. Together, you're powerful beyond imagination, much like all of you. In closing, I want to once again congratulate the Oxford High School class of 2010 on a job well done. Now go out in the world and show your community and school district what you can accomplish. More specifically, make your supporters right, prove your critics wrong. They hate that. Prove those critics, anybody that said you couldn't do something, prove them wrong. Make your parents, family, and friends proud, and most of all, live your dreams and make your life fulfilling. And remember, the dreams of life are only dreams for those who who do not want to take the risk to live their dreams. I hope you find something in life that you really like to do and enjoy it. Congratulations and best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Filippo. At this time, it is now my pleasure to present the Oxford High School Scholarship Awards for the graduating class of 2010. As I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing? If the audience would kindly hold your applause until everyone has that I have called everyone's name. I'm sorry. Tara Jarobsky, William W. and Alfred M. Taft Scholarship. Laura Shepherdson Award. OHS Booster Club Scholarship. Irwin and Lillian Pottle Scholarship. IPG Photonics Scholarship. Kelly Kirkland, the Gahagan Scholarship. Matthew Thompson, William W. and Alfred M. Taft Scholarship. The Oxford Post Number 58 American Legion Award. Jeffrey Falvolito Scholarship. Morgan Boyne, Clara Barton PTO Scholarship. Angela Lakovich Memorial Scholarship. St. Anne's Chip Hanlon Memorial Scholarship. Jessica Rodia, Leslie J. and Edith H. Chafee Scholarship. The Oxford Post Number 58 American Legion Award. The Jeremiah Moffett Scholarship. The Oxford Women's Club Josie Tyler Scholarship. Chelsea White, William W. and Alfred M. Taft Scholarship. Danny Clem Athletic Scholarship. 2010 Principals Award. St. Anne's St. Vincent de Paul Scholarship. The Oxford Education Association Scholarship. Crystal Shantavong, William W. and Alfred M. Taft Scholarship. The Elsie Moscofian Memorial Art Scholarship. Kevin Donovan, Danny Clem Athletic Scholarship. The Walter S. Shore Scholarship. Jane Parker, Mary Olive and Cora D. Wood Scholarship. Janae Gollard, Mary Olive and Cora D. Wood Scholarship. The OHS Booster Club Scholarship. The Oxford Police Officers Association Local Number 173 Scholarship. Allison LaForce, Hannah Harwood Scholarship. The OHS Booster Club Scholarship. The Oxford Women's Club Clara Barton Scholarship. Nina Traum, the Webster Spring Mac Levine Scholarship. Jennifer Freeland, Mary Olive and Cora D. Wood Scholarship. St. Anne's Chip Hanlon Memorial Scholarship. Michael Kraus, Friends of Oxford Football Scholarship. Ian Gorski, the Wayne Westall Scholarship. Stephen Heaps, the Jane Robertson Memorial Scholarship. St. Anne's Chip Hanlon Memorial Scholarship. Marisol Rosa, St. Anne's Parish Scholarship. Cody Belvery, Friends of Oxford Football Scholarship. Heather Williams, the OHS Booster Club Scholarship. Joseph Lavin, Marion Yvonne Lazaro Scholarship. Catherine Lavoie, the Lillian Pottle Scholarship. St. Anne's Chip Hanlon Memorial Scholarship. Teresa Rivera, Algot and Ruth Anderson College Expense Fund. The Oxford Education Association Scholarship. Sarah Gutierrez, the Oxford District Nursing Scholarship. Deborah Knight, Joanne Anderson Scholarship Award. Caitlin Corey, the Amy LaFleche Memorial Athletic Scholarship. Brianna Durgan, the Oxford Council number 4241 Knights of Columbus Scholarship. Amber Meadows, the Oxford High School Teacher and Staff Scholarship Fund. Alex Litwack, Angela Lakovich Memorial Scholarship. Lindsay Poulin, Mary Olive and Cora D. Wood Scholarship. Chelsea Dickow, Lisa Yucatonis Scholarship. Kelly Largess, Victoria Rose Walsh Scholarship. Jeffrey Stanmeyer, IPG Photonics Scholarship. Margaret Gaddis, the Northbridge Teachers Association Scholarship. Eric Kanatulski, not bad, the AstraZeneca Scholarship. Laurel Pitko, George A. Pitko and Paul P. Pitko Civil Engineering Scholarship. The Oxford Women's Club Scholarship. Colin Hudzik, the Angela Lakovich Memorial Scholarship. Joshua Woods, the Oxford High School Teacher Staff Scholarship Fund. Erin Zeidema, the Auburn Webster Lodge number 2118 Walter B. Millward Memorial Scholarship. The John and Abigail Adams Scholarship recipients this year for Oxford High School include Mr. Joshua Bernacki, Nicholas Buccieri, Caitlin Corey, Chelsea Dickow, Justina Dubsky, Jennifer Freeland, Jason Green, Nicole Holmberg, Kelly Kirkland, Heather LaMarche, Andrea Lawless, Laurel Pitko, Teresa Rivera, Patrick Ryan, Jeffrey Stanmeyer, Chelsea White, Heather Williams, Tiara Yanian, Morgan Boyne, Crystal Shantavong, Mohammed Shudri, Matthew Denham, Kevin Donovan, Kelly Foote, Janae Gallard, Jonathan Hill, Tara Jarobsky, Eric Kanaltelski, I apologize, Eric, Catherine Lavoie, Jane Parker, Neil Riley, Jessica Rodier, Pashalia Siotis, Matthew Thompson, Danielle White, Joshua Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 Oxford High School Scholarship Award winners. As we prepare to hand out the diplomas, I would kindly ask you, when your relative, granddaughter, daughter, son comes up to the podium to receive their diploma from the school committee members, we do have a professional photographer here from Case & Foster. There will be photographs available, so I'd ask you to please remain away from the podium, please.
Morgan Elizabeth Boyne. Tara Ann Jarofsky. Kelly Lee Kirkland. Matthew Francis Thompson. Jordan Louise Smith. Catherine Frances Lavoie. Olivia Jocelyn Capoli. Justina Chelsea Dubsky. Brianna Marie Pantalone. Chelsea Marie Ellsworth. Krista Elizabeth Montemayor. Marisol Rosa. Sarah Nicole Gutierrez. Sierra Joe Masiello. John Philip Sullivan. Jason Allen Green. Colin Michael Hudzik. Jeffrey Carl Stanmeyer. Lam Vin Tran. Joseph Daniel Lavin. Dylan Richard Nolette. Anthony Santos. Christopher James Buffum. James Anthony Stark. Allison Elizabeth LaForce. Nina Q. Trong. Tara Lynn Clifford. Jennifer Marie Freeland. Kelly Jane Largess. Lindsay Marie Poulin. Jamie Ann Thomas. Kelly Marie Foote. Janae Andrea Golad. Brenna Elizabeth Devaney. Derek Shane Lalone. Stephen Edward Heaps. Jonathan David Hill. Alex Winslow Green. Patrick Michael Ryan.
Hi, John.
Joshua Richard Bernacki. Tyler Joseph Blanchette. John Trevor Amato. Jason Michael Hammond. Joseph George Bissonette. Chelsea Lynn Dickow. Haley Alice Dowd. Laurel Elizabeth Pitko. Cheyenne Grace Cusson. Emily Marie Mangadas. Vivian Womboy Gatherow. Brianna Marie St. Germain. Margaret Mary Gaddis. Chelsea Marie White. Crystal Devon Shanthavong. Nolan Ryan Darrant. Matthew Thomas Bixby. Daniel Peter Raymond. Jason Scott Rivernider. Cody Andrew Belvery. Kyle Robert Michael Briggs. Kevin James Donovan. Eric Piotr Kanutelski. Michael James Kraus. Alan Thomas Bates. Caitlin Marie Corey.
He just stood up, so that means we can call his name in a minute. I thought he was on the last row. Or maybe the last row.
Hoshalia Siotis. Brianna Marie Durgan. Alexandra Ray Litwack. Amber Lynn Marie Meadows. Amber Carolyn Jokinen. Emma Kate Carey. Jane Luella Parker. Heather Lynn Jimbowski. Tamar Basalaya. Adam Christopher Fields. Neil Vincent Riley. Muhammad Karam Chaudhry. Nicholas Rocco Frisolo. Matthew Richard Grenier. Benjamin Linston Hallback. Benjamin Edward Domi. Tyler Ray Richard Carlson. Nicholas Peter Mancuso. Ian James Gorski. Tiara Noel Yanian. Erin Elizabeth Zaidama. Heather Mary Lamash. Jennifer Nicole Laramie. Cassie Lynn Kimball. Lauren Elise McDermott. Tara Megan McGregor. Hillary Ina Graves. Brittany Ann Smith. Brittany Nicole Stasitis. Harry Henry Nelson Jr. Jonathan David St. Cyr. Joshua Stephen Woods. Joseph Michael Graham. Danielle Jillian White. Allie Marie Charbonneau. Marie Louise Vanessa Aka. Shelby Lynn Hines. Yvonne Ashley Diane Lefkowitz. Antonia Hoffman. Deborah Ann Knight. Courtney Lynn Sad. Teresa Maria Rivera. Jessica Marie Rodier. Nicole Marie Holmberg. Heather Elizabeth Williams.
Thank you.